You can see some of the breakouts, and I'll tell you, you can feel it. You can barely breathe. It's smoky and it's thick.
Were you commissioned to make this film or anything like that? I mean, you said no, you just wanted to pick up a camera and talk about how you guys got involved with the project and how, you know, it came to be.
Well, Robert Kent, who's the narrator of the film, he's a real visionary.
But yeah, he was the one who wrangled us together and made the connections. And I am a homeowner in the Puna district, and I moved out there to work on a separate film. And I had been living there for about a year, and we just bought our house, and then the lava started flowing, and we were going through a lot of the same emotions that we were able to capture on film. And Robert brought us together and introduced us to Zenne, and he's like, we gotta capture this inside-out view of the community.
Yes, because at the time we had National Geographic coming into Puna, we had Fox News, CBS, NBC, but you know, they just came in to kind of get the sensationalism. But we wanted to tell the whole story. And like Jesus, the doomsday prophet said,
Yeah,
you know.
The gentleman who built the ark.
Yeah, the man who built the ark, and he actually did build an ark, but not for the lava flow. Whoops, I just got distracted. What was the question? Sorry, I thought.
You wanted to tell the real story.
Oh, the real story is how it was bringing people around to becoming more connected with their community.
Yeah, really bringing people together.
Working together on different ways of sharing food and resources. So there was a really beautiful story under all that sensationalism, and we wanted to tell that story.
And we really wanted to represent all of our characters in an honest light and not throw them into these stereotypes. And we were really conscious about showing the differences between the Hawaiian perspective and the non-local transient crowd that comes through Puna on such a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true because, you know, like when I think of Puna, I think it's like hippie enclave of
Patchouli, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and I thought it was very, you know, I mean, so, because I'm far away from being a hippie person, by any means, but I think
You don't say.
Yeah, but, you know, I thought it was really great that you guys captured a lot of, like, just genuine, you know, just, you know, people just living their lives. And I think that, I mean, was it the idea, I mean, just the fact that people weren't really necessarily freaking out, like, generally, was there just this feel of calmness, like, in a way that was kind of permeated throughout the community?
There was an underlying sense of dread.
Sure.
I
mean,
but mostly just because nobody knew what was going to happen. This dragged on for a series of months, and, you know, they could just give us, like, oh, this is what it did yesterday. We don't really know what tomorrow's going to hold.
And then, I mean, also the lava was flowing so slowly, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah, you could walk away from it.
Right.
You had a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, now 2 years on, or a year and a half on, how is that community spirit and sharing playing out?
It's been great. We've got a lot of retreat centers and a lot of communities down in our area that are doing really innovative things. Kalani, which is our Scott, the permaculture guy, he works there. They are just. Would you like to speak on matters? Zenne lives there. So.
Yeah, I live at the retreat center, and I've watched the blossoming of our whole permaculture department. And I really believe that we are creating a template that it's a real model for the rest of the world. So it's like Robert said very eloquently, it's almost like a permaculture experiment. Demonstration site, yeah.
Very much like, the whole area is kind of like a biodome, you know? It's like,
Very much so, yeah.
Yes.
So what's next? What are the plans for the film next? And one of the things you should consider putting in those plans is a nice soundtrack, because the selection of music was excellent.
Oh,
mahalo!
mahalo! Yes, thank you. Yes, we talked about a soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're going to be doing a festival run throughout the rest of this year. And you can follow us on Facebook at Aloha from Lavaland Film to keep up to date with all of our screenings and events throughout the islands and the country.
What are the local bands from, I mean, is it Medicine
Medicine for the
We've
people, yeah.
gotten a lot of notoriety. I mean, we're pretty famous on the mainland, right?
Oh,
Yeah, they are,
they've
yeah.
gone huge, yeah, so
Ask them.
ask
Ask them to
them.
be on the soundtrack. I mean, on the soundtrack.
Well, Hope Medford, she's the one that sang I Will Go to the Volcano. She's in the band.
Yeah, she's the percussionist for NACO and Medicine for the People.
Yeah,
And we were in conversation with them about providing the cover that Scott and Carly performed for our credits.
yeah. So they do have a presence in the film already, and we're really excited about putting together a soundtrack with our local artists, Mary Isis, who
Ahulani Stephanie. and all of
Ahulani
our
Stephanie is the
fantastic
kumu
chants.
with the chant and the drumming. So yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you like the music. It's such an important part of
Go
this
ahead.
film.
I talked to Philip before we came in, not realizing how profound the conversation was, because you folks have you've tapped into a group of people who are just grateful to be alive, and they are very bountiful, and yet here you are looking for all the world like city folk. Is there a side of you that wants to come
Me and Phyllis look like city folk?
and join that effort and become, I don't know what you call it, survivalist or whatever. In other words, could you ever set aside the life you have now and go to that and be a part of it?
Well, part of my life that I strive to achieve is living in a very balanced state between the nature and the urban environments, and being able to get off island and share what we have to offer in Lower Puna with the rest of the world is gratitude. It gives me such great gratitude to be able to share the story of our community with everyone else out there. And I think we're doing really, really great and inspiring things down in Lower
It's
Puna.
a wonderful movie, and I guess you're halfway between two civilizations. And I'm just curious, are you kind of a spokesman for a way of life that's still kind of a city person too?
Well, I spent my time in the city, and I can tell you that I don't see going back to it in a full-time commitment. I strive great pleasure from tending my garden every morning and growing my own fruit and being involved in the farmers markets in our area. And I look forward to continuing that life and being able to get off island every now and then. It's always a nice
Okay.
refresher.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I was struck by the fact that the people that were talking about permaculture as a great idea as that is, not one of them talked about the connection to the traditional Hawaiian system of ahupua'a and sharing and bartering and all the things, all the cultural components. That is the same thing as what they were talking about. I'm not sure if they think about that, but didn't verbalize it, or they never made that connection. So it made me think that these were outsiders coming in, but not really bringing an outside concept that's really, they didn't connect it to the Hawaiian culture.
Interesting point. We do have a lot of Ahupua'a series on permaculture happening over there in Puna. Some things just didn't make it into the film, but a lot of the scenes where you see people, growing food, and they were filmed at workshops that were called the Ahupua'a series.
It's a concept that we held very dear while putting this film together, and you only have so much real estate when you're putting together a film. You can only explicitly explore concepts, and we really had to, be brutal in the edit. We have hours and hours and hours of footage that we would love to share, and we just have to narrow it down.
But there is a lot of that barter, food share going on. There's so little money actually being traded. It's mostly goods and services.
I'm just curious about the very inception of the film. Did you plan this all after the fact and then go back, or while it was going on, did you take the footage that you had hours and hours of footage, And I guess what impressed me so much is coming here, I thought it would be a documentary just of what happened, but it was really amazing that you were able to depict a whole the evolution, because it seems as though it was an evolution, it was a progression. I mean, I think the people of Puna did not necessarily start that way with that kind of community building and everything, but the progression I thought was brilliant, and the way it was put together, so I really appreciate it, but I just wanted to comment on, you know, where did you start? From the beginning, from the end to the beginning, or did you have this as it was going on, so you kind of knew, or did everything just evolve? Or?
It was a very strong combination of both of those, and thank you for the compliments. I mean, as soon as the lava started flowing, we just hit the ground running, and we just started going up to people, and Zenne was just in Pahoa.
Day 3?
Yeah, no, I mean, we got hit with a hurricane first that kind of prepped us for it, but then after that settled, Zenne was able to get out on the street, and we just started asking people just a simple question: how does the lava make you feel? And that was the basis for the project, and then we just kept working on it for months and months and months, and cultivating our theme, impermanence, and we wanted to represent the change in our community in a subtle and spiritual way in the film, and show how that brought everyone together.
Maybe time for one more question? No?
Great film.
Mahalo, thank you so much.
Can you guys stick around in the lobby if there's any questions from the audience?
I got nothing to do.